Good amazing day to all. This is Teacher Dan Ragayan, and for today's episode, we'll be having another review drill for our science majorship as part of our preparation for the upcoming licensure examination for professional teachers come March 2025. Our focus for this episode is on research. And before we proceed, let us all be reminded of our goal to pass and even top the board licensure examination for professional teacher. So let's manifest that you will all pass the board exam. So I hope you have your paper and pen with you. Samahan nyo ako at sabayan nyo ako sa pagsasagot ng 10 items na 10 items no para sa drill na ito. Okay? So I think everybody's ready. So let's start. Before that, no, before I forget, no, let's try to capture first the two learning outcomes that we'll be covering in these particular episodes. So we'll be covering science instruction under the sub area research with two learning outcomes. The first one, manifest familiarity with the basic investigative research and science. And secondly, demonstrate proficiency in interpreting graphical presentations of data and conclusions draw from inferential analysis of results. This is based on the enhanced table of specification for science majorship issued by the Board for Professional Teachers. All right, so I think we're all ready now. So let's have question number one. What is the first step in the scientific method? A. Formulating a hypothesis. B. Identifying a problem or question. C. Conducting experiments. D. Drawing conclusions. So what do you think is the answer? Future LPT top notchers? All right, of course, that's correct. That's letter B, identifying a problem or a question. So we need to have a problem or a question prior to the conduct of experimentation. But before formulating your question or problem, you need to have an observation. You need to make an observation. So then we ask a question or identify the problem, then we develop our hypothesis or prediction. After formulating our hypothesis, we test the hypothesis through the process of experimentation. Then we analyze the results, then we record the results against our hypothesis, then we can conclude or make a conclusion. So this is a logical step-by-step organized science process of um involved in our research or investigation. So this is what we call the scientific method. And when we talk about scientific experimentation, we come across with the term empirical evidence, which refers to information obtained through observation, experimentation, or experience that can be verified or measured. So it is based on real world data rather than theory or speculation and serves as a foundation for scientific research and validation of our hypothesis. So this particular term, empirical evidence, is one of the elements of scientific soundness, no? When we talk about research and investigation. Okay, second question, which of the following is a characteristic of a good scientific hypothesis? A, it must be complex and detailed. B, it cannot be modified once formulated. C, it must always be correct. Or letter D, it should be testable and falsifiable. So what's your answer here? So we're looking at a characteristic of a good scientific hypothesis, and that's correct. It should be testable and falsifiable. Okay? Because your hypothesis has to be tested through the process of experimentation. And when we talk about hypothesis, we have here the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis is the absence of effect, relationship, difference. So there's no, okay, effect, relationship, or difference. Walang relasyon, walang pagkakaiba. While alternative hypothesis, on the other hand, is a statement that assumes there's an effect, there's a relationship, there's a difference. May epekto, may relasyon, may diferensya. Okay? So H sub 0 is the symbol for null, while H sub 1 or H sub A for alternative hypothesis. So it includes equality sign here, quality symbol is equal or lesser than, is equal or greater than. So mainly, no, in the board exam, you can see equal sign. So equal sign actually denotes null hypothesis, while inequality sign, not equal, lesser than or greater than, that is alternative hypothesis. Okay, so take note of the symbol. So indicates no significant effect or difference in the study, no outcome if proven true, while for alternative there is a significant effect or significant difference. Null, no, no, NN, no, wala. Alternative, a significant difference, a significant relationship. So example, no, h sub 0. So we have here variable 1 is equal to variable 2. So the means of two groups are equal. Okay? So that is a null hypothesis. While this one, h sub 1, variable a, and variable 2, no, or group 1 and group 2 is not equal. The means of two groups are not equal. So that is alternative hypothesis. Okay? So next question, what is the purpose of a control group in an experiment? A, to test multiple variables simultaneously. B, to speed up the research process. C, to provide a baseline for comparison. Or letter D, to manipulate the outcome. So what is the correct answer for these questions, future LPTs? That's correct. A control group no has to provide no it should serve as a baseline for comparison. Remember, in an experiment we have the experimental group and the control group. So for the independent variable, it's held constant in the control group, while the control group does not receive the treatment. So for control group, usually if it's in the context of teaching strategy, we use traditional method of instruction, while experimental group, there we actually infuse or expose our students with an innovative teaching strategy or a innovative pedagogical technique. So in this case, no, you can see that there is no an absence of a treatment, while this one there is a an exposure to a treatment or to an intervention through a music, because the hypothesis here is that listening to music while working affects productivity. So the independent variable is of course the presence or absence of music, while the dependent variable is productivity. Okay, so in independent variable, we manipulate this, and the dependent variable is actually the result, no, of our manipulation of the independent variable. Okay, so next question, which type of variable is manipulated in an experiment? A, dependent variable, B, independent variable, C, control variable, or letter D, extraneous variable. Okay, so what is the answer here? All right. So manipulated an experiment. That's correct. That is our independent variable. So yan yung minamanipulate natin, the independent variable. And based on our manipulation, we will see the effects. And these effects are the dependent variable. So the dependent variable responds to or depends on the independent variable. The independent variable is the one which we manipulate. So in this case, for example, amount of light plant receives. The cause, controlled, and graph on x-axis. While the dependent variable is the plant health. So the amount of light plant receives is the independent variable, while the plant health is the dependent. So the effect, no, measured and graph on the y-axis. So the x-axis, no, for your independent variable. So that is our abscissa, and the y-axis your ordinate. Okay? So next, number 5, what type of research focuses on collecting numerical data? A, qualitative research, B, quantitative research, C, observational research, D, theoretical research. Okay, so our keyword here is collecting numerical data. And when we talk about numerical data, what type of research are we referring? Are we referring to, no? What type of research is being illustrated here? That's correct. Of course, quantitative research. Numbers, numerical, quantitative research. Okay. Words, feelings, emotions, descriptions, that's qualitative research. So when we answer the why question, we deal about qualitative, while how many or how much we deal about quantitative. For data type, observation, symbols, words, descriptions. Now for qualitative, well, for quantitative, we use numbers, statistics. No, statistical result for this. So for approach, we observe and interpret in qualitative, while for quantitative, we measure in and test. Okay? Then for analysis, grouping of common data, non-statistical analysis, ano yung mga analysis natin for qualitative? It could be thematic analysis. We also have content analysis, documentary analysis. So these are qualitative analysis types. Well, for quantitative, of course, we deal about statistical analysis, and we have two types of statistical analysis: your descriptive analysis and your inferential analysis or statistics. Okay, so next question, question number 6: which of the following is a common characteristic of experimental research? A, it uses only secondary data. B, it avoids the use of hypothesis. C, it seeks to determine cause and effect relationships. Or letter D, it does not require a control group. Okay, so when we talk about experimental research, what is the characteristics among our option? That's correct. Letter C. It seeks to determine the cause and effect relationships. Okay, that's what we have seen, no, in the previous examples, showing the independent and the dependent variable. So in experimental research design, it's a method of an inquiry used to establish the cause and effect by manipulating one or more independent variables and observing their effect on a dependent variable under controlled condition. Okay, well, the rest of the options, no, we have here, by the way, no, the types of experimental design. We have the true experimental design, the pre-experimental design, and the quasi-experimental design. So for true experimental, it includes randomization, a control group, and a manipulation of variables. While pre-experimental design lacks randomization or control group, but involves some level of manipulation. While for quasi, it includes manipulation variables but lacks randomization. For randomization, yes, participants are randomly assigned in true experimental. No randomization for pre-experimental. No randomization for quasi. Groups are pre-existing like by class or by schedule. So for control group, it includes a control group for comparison for true experimental. While for pre-experimental does not include a control group. Remember our experimental and control group, no, as basis for comparison. Then for quasi may include a control group, but participants are not randomly assigned because no randomization for quasi. So example in science education, say for example, you're doing a true experimental design, a new interactive physics curriculum is tested. Students are randomly assigned to experimental, the new curriculum, and control the traditional curriculum groups, and their pretest and post-test scores are compared. So we have here two groups, the experimental and the control. And then we will compare pre and post if there's a difference between pre and post in the experimental and pre and post in the control. If, for example, in the experimental, there's a significant difference, we can say that the new curriculum is effective. On the other hand, while if, for example, in the traditional group, there's no significant difference, then we can say that its exposure to the new curriculum will provide our students better scientific literacy. Well, for pre-experimental, a teacher applies a new teaching strategy to one class without a control group and measures students' performance with the post-test. No? So you can see no level of no comparison. It's just a control group, one class, then i-measure lang natin through a post-test. So that's pre-experimental. Well, for quasi-experimental, an inquiry-based learning approach is implemented in some classes, not randomly assigned, and compared to traditional lecture-based classes using pre-test and post-test scores. May pre and post-test pa rin gaya ng through experimental. However, this one, no randomization. Okay? So, non-randomly assigned yung ating groups. Okay? So I hope this will be very helpful to you. Just in case PRC would ask you about the different types of experimental research in the context of science education. Okay. So next, number 7, what type of graph is most appropriate for displaying the relationship between two variables? A pie chart, B bar graph, C line graph, D scatter plot. So when we talk about relationship, we're using, that's correct, that's correct. So that's scatter plot. Okay, so letter D is the correct answer. We use scatter plot for relationship between two variables, no? And the relationship or correlation between two numerical variables helping to identify trends or patterns. So you can see here the scatter plot wherein we can see that there is a relationship, no, between the process input and the quality characteristic. Okay? So next, so pie chart used to show proportions or percentages of a whole, making it ideal for categorical data comparison. So we're very familiar with pie chart, right? Bar graph used to compare different categories or groups by displaying numerical values as bars or rectangles of varying length. And it has spaces, no, in between the bars or the rectangles. Pero kapag walang spaces yung mga bars natin or rectangles in the graph, it's no longer a bar graph but a histogram. At pag tinanong yan sa board exam, histogram is used to show frequency distribution naman. Okay? While line graph is used to show trends, patterns, or changes over time by connecting data points with the continuous lines. Okay? So next, number 8, which of the following statistical test is used to compare the means of two groups? Okay? A chi-square test, B t-test, C correlation analysis, or letter D regression analysis. Okay? So when we compare two groups, we're using a statistical test called t-test, right? So that is for two groups. So for t-test, we have three types: the paired samples t-test, the independent samples t-test, and the one sample t-test. So for paired sample t-test, it investigates whether there's a difference within a group between 2 points in time or within subjects. If, for example, um, your for example, you wanna check the performance of your science students in the pre and post test, no? So they're the same um class, right? So we just have to compare the pre and the post. So we use paired samples test to identify whether there's a significant difference between the pre and post test after their exposure to a certain teaching intervention. Okay? While independent samples t-test investigate whether there's a difference between two groups or between subjects. For example, you want to know the level of scientific literacy of your two groups of respondents, the male groups and the female groups. So there are two, right? So since there are two, we're using t-test, and the kind of t-test that we'll be using is independent. Okay? Kasi iba ang grupo ng lalaki sa iba ang grupo ng babae. And then ihahambing natin kung makabuluhang kaibahan di yung level o antas ng kanilang literasiya sa agham. Okay? So you make use of your independent samples t-test. While for one sample t-test, investigate whether there's a difference between a group, okay, and a standard value or whether a subgroup belongs to a population. So that is group, no, or sample, no, as compared to the population. Okay? So next, so for chi-square test, we use to determine whether there is a significant association between two categorical variables in data set. So this one naman is significant association to categorical. While correlation analysis, strength of relationship, direction of relationship, correlation, okay, like Pearson R and Spearman Rowe between two numerical variable, the strength and direction of the relationship correlation. While for regression analysis, now after subjecting it to correlation analysis, we can subject it further to regression. So used to predict the value of a dependent variable based on one or more independent variables and assess the impact of predictors. So that's what regression analysis is for predicting the value based on one or more independent variable. Okay? So next, number 9, if a p-value is less than 0.05, what can you conclude? A, the null hypothesis is rejected. B, the data supports the null hypothesis. C, the result is not statistically significant. Or letter D, the test was performed incorrectly. Okay, so the p-value is less than 0.05. So once it's 0.05, that is correct. The null hypothesis is rejected. So when we reject the null, which is no significant difference, that means there is a significant difference. We rejected the null eh. Null means no significant difference. So pag nireject mo ang null, may pagkakaiba. When you accept the null, there's no significant difference. So tatandahan na, reject the null hypothesis, there is a significant difference. So that is our interpretation. Accept the null hypothesis, there is no significant difference. So how do we know that? All right? So ito po yun, no? So if our basis, no, usually for educational research, no, in social sciences, 0.05 is our baseline or basis. So 0.05 or less than that, we reject the null hypothesis. That is our decision. Okay? 0.05, 0.04, 0.03, no? We reject the null hypothesis. So what's the interpretation? There is a significant difference between groups. Okay? Because you reject the null eh. Now, for greater than 0.05, okay, you fail to reject, so you accept the null hypothesis. Actually, it's fail to reject the null hypothesis, pero nasanay na rin na accept the null hypothesis. So sa board exam, they might use accept the null hypothesis or fail to reject. Meaning, if you fail to reject the null hypothesis, okay, or you accept the null hypothesis, ano ibig sabihin nun? There is no significant difference, right? So kapag 0.06, 0.07, 0.08, you accept the null hypothesis. What's the decision? Walang pagkakaiba. There's no significant difference between group. Okay? So let's try nga 0.03. What's your decision? Is it reject or accept the null hypothesis? Reject or accept yun lang. 0.03, that's correct. That is reject null hypothesis. H sub 0. 0.53, since it's more than 0.05, that is correct. Accept null hypothesis. No significant difference. 0.01, less than 0.05, that's correct. Reject the null hypothesis. Okay? So meaning there's a significant difference. While 0.06, which is greater than 0.05, that's accept the null hypothesis. There is no significant difference. All right? I hope that that's clear. Okay? So next, last question, number 10. What is the best way to interpret a significant positive correlation between two variables? A, one variable causes the other to increase. B, both variables increase together, but causation is not established. C, there's no relationship between the variables. Or letter D, one variable decreases as the other increases. So positive correlations. We're talking about positive correlation, and that is correct. Both variables increase together. That is positive correlation. When two variables increase together, positive correlation. But causation is not established. Remember that correlation is test of relationship, not causation. Okay? While negative correlation, one variable decreases as the other increases. Okay? There's no relationship between the variables, that is zero relationship or no correlation. Okay? So yeah, so these are the three different types of correlation. The positive correlation, as production increases, sales also increase. We also call the positive correlation as direct relationship or direct correlation. Okay? While negative, no, as price increases, demand decreases. So this is an inverse correlation. Ito direct eh, no? Pag tumataas yung isa, tataas yung isa. Okay? Pag tumataas yung isa, bababa yung isa. That's inverse correlation. Well, the relationship between H and Mark scored zero relationship, meaning there is no correlation. At ano na nga ulit ang ginagamit natin for statistical tools for correlation, which you can commonly find in your majorship exam, either Pearson R, no, for interval, no, and Sperman rho for ordinal. Okay, level of measurement. Okay, so that ends our let's review drill for this episode. So laban, papasa tayo, keep fighting, future LPT, top notchers, and continue no to read, continue to prepare, continue to broaden no and further uh, check pa, no? Other concepts which you find very, very unclear. And hopefully our short drills, no, are helping you, no, to refresh at least, no, to be reacquainted again with our salient concepts. So let me know in the comment section ilan na nakuha natin sa 10 items nating na ating tinanong, no, for this episode. All right, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, marami pong salamat. And till our next video.